Good afternoon, everybody.
How's it going?
How we doing?
Doing good. I guess let's clear the air. I guess why was it important for you to not only just leave LSU but also come back here to Notre Dame and be a part of Marcus Freeman's staff?
Yeah, I mean, number one, it was a really hard decision to leave LSU. Our family was happy there. Great program. A lot of respect for Coach Kelly, obviously. We've worked together on and off over 30 plus years or however long I've been doing this. So that was difficult and really wasn't really looking for a new opportunity. But when Notre Dame called and we had a couple conversations, this is a place that I've always felt my heart was. It's where I've always wanted to be. And the opportunity to come back here presented itself, and it was a difficult decision, but the right decision, and for a number of reasons. One, because it's the University of Notre Dame, and my beliefs are so aligned. The student athletes that are attracted here, the high achievers, the best of the best, is something that anybody enjoys being a part of. And then, being closer to family. I grew up in Michigan. My wife is from Buffalo, New York, and an opportunity to kind of get back closer to family was a factor in it. And then an opportunity to come back and work with Marcus Freeman, who I have an unbelievable amount of respect for. I watched, obviously we worked together at Cincinnati, and watching him and his leadership ability and the way he inspires people around him to be better at what they're doing was something that I felt like I wanted to be a part of.
I know your offenses have done pretty well the last several years, whether it be Desmond Ritter or Jaden Daniels. What do you see right now in both Riley Leonard and also Steve Angeli? Yeah,
I mean, I see a skill set that fits what we plan to do. And those two guys in particular, in I think possess the, both the ability to make some plays with their feet, make some plays with their arm, and makes us harder to defend and makes us more multiple offensively. So we look forward to letting those guys battle it out.
Kind of building on that, what makes a quarterback successful in the RPO game? Just because, obviously those quarterbacks had a lot of success with that.
Yeah, I think it's just understanding what we're trying to get done more than anything. I think we'll be probably a little bit more of a spread-looking football team than they've been the last couple years. A little bit maybe more 11 personnel than they've run the last couple years. And the reason for that really is, it sounds weird, but it's to help out the run game and to help out the play-action game and to help out getting our athletes out in space and giving them the ability to make some explosive plays. And that's what we're going to try to create.
And then what are just some of the challenges for you and the guys just kind of installing a new offense and then new terminology and all of that? Yeah,
it's the great thing is, obviously, if you got admitted into the University of Notre Dame, you're a pretty smart individual. So I've been unbelievably pleased with their ability to pick up the things that we've given them so far. The spring is going to be a lot about trying to make sure they understand assignment football. And then hopefully if we can kind of keep feeding them as we get through the spring, we can get a little bit more towards the end of spring and during the summer, more into the details of what it's going to take to really execute at a high level. So it starts really with understanding what you're supposed to do, and then it kind of goes to how you're supposed to do it in critical situations, so that you can make the plays necessary to be good against really good defenses. And that's going to be the challenge. How fast can that process happen? How much can we step on the gas and give them? And so far it's been remarkable to me how they've picked things up and how anxious they are to continue to develop.
With you coming back here, it could be said that with you and Golden, two coordinators, you can kind of have a really strong, one of the strongest defenses and offenses in the country. I could talk to Golden about what the expectations are now with both of you here, both experienced coordinators?
Well, I can say at this moment, I know we have an unbelievable top 5 defense. So being the offensive coordinator, when you know you've got that sort of ability on the other side of the ball, does make your life a little bit easier and calms your nerves a little bit. With that said, that's our goal, is to get to the level of how the defense played. I mean, we can be a top 5 offense just like they can be a top 5 defense. And Coach Golden obviously is remarkable at what he does and how he does it. And I love the scheme that they use and how multiple it is. And we're going to implement something very similar on the offensive side of the ball.
Not only bring experience, but you kind of seem like you bring some excitement to the offense as well. What's been the conversation or level of excitement that you've noticed from the offensive side of the ball players since you've been back? Yeah,
the players have been fantastic, and they have done everything that we've asked them to do. They continue to do that. As I mentioned earlier, they're incredibly smart. They pick things up really fast, and I think they're excited about the opportunity to show, hopefully in this offensive scheme, what their personal abilities are to make us better collectively as an offensive unit. So they've been really excited, and the coaches have been really excited as well.
Do 1 or 2 more.
What's just kind of the comfort level with the offensive staff, given that you've known several of them from Cincinnati?
It certainly helps. Obviously, Coach Gaduli and Coach Brown and I were together at Cincinnati, so I think that has helped a little bit accelerate the process as well of trying to get things implemented. Coach Rudolph, I think, is outstanding. Coach McCullough, I think, is outstanding. Those guys are elite football coaches and elite teachers, and they've picked up things really fast and been able to relay that information to their players. We've had some instances of the last few days of kind of what we're calling football school, where we've got a chance to get out on the field a little bit with the guys, and we're making some nice progress here, even though we've only done it for a couple days. So it's fun to be a part of.
You've had so much success in the pass game as well as the run game. What's the conversation been like as far as expectations from the receivers to step up, Coach Brown, Coach McCullough, to kind of hit it to the next gear?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to be an explosive group. And, that comes from giving guys opportunities, and that comes from guys understanding that sometimes they create opportunities for themselves. But we are going to put them in a position where they can make those type of plays as well. So I think it's a combination of not only having the athletes that are capable of making those plays, but also giving them an opportunity within the scheme that you're running for them to do that. And that's what we look forward to kind of figuring out over the course of the spring. I mean, right now we're out there running around in shorts and T-shirts, so it's a little hard to get a true read on what everybody's ability level is. But as we go through the spring and we understand the strengths and weaknesses a little bit more, at least I do, of the personnel that we have, we'll tailor things towards the guys that need to be touching the football and need to be out in green grass running with it.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Max, just given your history with Notre Dame, what does this opportunity mean to you?
This is a big one, right? My mom went here. My grandfather obviously played here. My uncle Jamie played cornerback here. I have a lot of history at Michigan State too, but a lot of people forget about my history on the Notre Dame side. Okay, and something that my mom holds, very dear to her. The fact that she went here, the fact that her dad went here, the fact that her dad was able to come back and donate money to it. Point is, this place has meant a lot to us, both my family and my extended family, for a long time. And I don't know, I'm just excited to be able to continue doing it, even though I didn't go to school here.
And then last year you mentioned your coaching style was pretty direct. I guess what did you kind of learn about yourself going through last fall?
I was a big learning curve last year, just because that was really my first year coaching linebackers. It was awesome. I learned a lot from Coach Golden. I learned a lot about how to deal with individual players and not just coaching them all the same, but finding out what makes each player tick, what's important to each player, what's each player's goals, et cetera, et cetera. And maybe the most important is how does each player learn? And that's something I think that I've gotten better at, and I hopefully continue to do so as we move forward.
We saw you running drills individually and kind of taking kind of charge with the linebackers. I guess, what did you take away from kind of doing that toward the start of the year and then really toward the end of the year in cold prep as well?
We'll give Coach Golden credit. He kind of let me do that, from pretty early on. I think he and I have a good relationship, and I think we're able to kind of get on the same page in terms of what we wanted to do and what we wanted to get done with individual drills when we do the indie period, what you're talking about. So that kind of progressed as the year went on. Again, he and I see things the same way, and we started doing some different drills that I kind of presented, which led me to take control of it. But give credit to him. He allowed me to do that from the beginning, and I think it's a large reason why I'm standing here right now.
What do you see in this linebacker core right now? Are you looking at it from a different view now that you're the sole, coach over that position group?
Not much. I'm not looking at it much different. I solely looked at this last year like I was a linebacker coach. So I'll be honest with you, I'm not looking at it different. It's a lot different room than it was last year. Okay, we had a lot of guys that played a lot of snaps last year, guys that basically could teach me the defense when I came in here, right? And so when I go to meetings, I could kind of lean on them and those sorts of things. Well, that's gone. We have Jack Kaiser, who may be the smartest of the bunch, that's still here, but there's a lot of guys, Kingston, Kia, even Drake, Snead, Jaden, all those guys that haven't really played a lot. So there's going to be a little bit more coaching involved. But I think that's also fun because it kind of gives me the opportunity to put my spin on it. You know what I mean? And they say that the room takes over the mentality or the personality of the position room or the position coach. And I think this year is really my first year to get the chance to do that.
And what kind of personality do you want to impose in this position?
It's a great question. I think it's what he said. It's the direct, it's high energy, it's direct teaching on the field and in the classroom, meaning ask the kids what do they know, make them spit it back to you. But it's you have to answer and we're moving. You know what I mean? Like when you come in the building, we have an expectation as linebackers. One, like we talked to Drake Bowen who's playing baseball. Do you see his first score? He slid, yeah, he's representing our room. We talk about that. Like we operate a certain way in our room, on our defense and on our team, and that's expected as soon as you walk in.
Coach, how would you describe your relationship with Coach Freeman and just kind of being on his staff and just kind of the bond that you've grown in your year here?
Coach Freeman's been great. So I know Coach Freeman going back to Cincinnati years ago. I sat in there, I was a GA for him when he was a defensive coordinator at Cincinnati. I think the world of Coach Freeman. I think he cares about his players. I think he cares about his staff. I think he meticulously plans how everything works, from who's hired here to who's brought in here to recruiting different guys in different spaces. I think he's had a great plan since he's been the head coach here, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
What is the biggest challenge when you have a room that's relatively inexperienced on the field?
I guess we're going to find that out here in the next couple weeks. But I think it's going to be taking control of the defense. Like we got to go out there, we got to be loud. The defense goes as the linebackers go, in my opinion. And I'm talking about everything from, setting the front, the huddle call and all that, but I'm talking about how you take the field from the sideline, how you get the defense around you. Do they believe what you're saying? Like I talked to Drake Bowen, and it's about making the right call on the field, but it's also about talking to the nose guard off the field. So he's confident and used to talking to you, listening to you, he trusts you. So I think we have a long way to go in that regard just because we have lack experience. Now, we're going to be hard on him, we're going to get it done, but I think that's something that you always have to grow into with a young squad.
How easy has it been to adapt to, what the motto is here, what the standard is here as far as expectations go?
Well, I understand Coach Free's point of view. We talk about the golden standard. We talk about, the whole man, not just being a football player, but bringing our families around so they can see us as family members so that they can continue to take that into their life after football. But I've always kind of understood Coach Freeman's standard, and that's come in the building every day and understand what's expected of you in terms of, not just coaching, but a big one is relationship and trust with the players. Spending time with the players outside of football has been one of the biggest things I think I've learned from Coach Freeman.
Kingston mentioned he felt mentally prepared coming out of the Bosco program just with their style of defense and how they used him. Can you kind of see that in that some players are more prepared coming from their prep programs?
Yeah, I think that's the kid. It's different everywhere. Like, and I'm the prime example. I didn't know anything coming out of high school. I didn't have pass coverage in high school. Like, I literally did, and I couldn't tell you who I had in pass coverage. Okay, we played wing T team, I didn't know anything, and I was able to come and do it and be fine with it. Sometimes I don't know how. You know what I mean? Because literally, like, when then you talk, because I'm comparing, like, Kingston ran basically a shell version of Alabama's defense. I could talk to him about all that from being there at Alabama the last 3 years. It's the same thing, which is a complicated defense, right? So someone like Kingston, to me, he's he doesn't know the defense, but he's used to processing on the field. He's used to getting new information from here and implementing it here, whereas a lot of high schools, that's not really the case. So I think in terms of processing, that's where someone like Kingston is able to have an advantage. And he's used to having to deal with it. He's used to kind of being uncomfortable and walk through, I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to do, but kind of getting through it and working through it, if that makes sense.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach.